Briefly speaking, economics is a science, and our scope being implications of relative scarcity ensure that our field is distinct from other fields as the few examples here demonstrate. First, ethics. Questioning ethical reasons of ends are out of bounds of any science, and also of economics analysis. Since now ends are treated as given, it naturally excludes any discussion of ethical motivations from the analysis. One may be motivated purely out of selfish reasons, or another may be out of higher moral values to engage in altruistic acts. Economic analysis takes the ends and scarce substitutable means as given and studies how these two affect the behavior. What is even more important is that any discussion of ends, inevitably, becomes ethical in nature, raising moral questions. Since economics is now treated as a science, it cannot attend ethical questions. Science is incapable of deciding moral values because its sole function in a society is to report facts and to study causes. No amount of facts, or mathematics, can judge whether we should teach our child to respect elders, or not. Regarding psychology, economic analysis is indifferent to any psychological explanations of determinants of ends, because ends are the given data. The ends can be altruistic, ego-driven, a combination of various motives, formed out of peer pressure, result from primary socialization, etc., etc. Economic analysis takes them as given, so long as they are not absurd, and studies consequences for our behavior due to means which are not fully permissive of simultaneous gratification of these given ends. Regarding aesthetics, economic analysis is indifferent to any aesthetic appeals because that too is normative, and thus not science. For all the same reasons as in case of ethics, normative appeals, such as to beauty etc., do not fall within our scope of economic analysis. Beauty standards, or aesthetic values may determine desirability of certain ends but are not of use in an economic analysis where ends are just given data. Economic history, only so far as history attempts to provide the economic theory its substance, it falls within bounds of science of economics. While theory describes the form of relations of scarcity with ends via our behavior, economic history provides the substance to this abstract form by studying historical events in which scarcity was manifested. A history of anything else is not of concern for an economic analysis. Regarding technology, a study of multiple means for achieving a singular end is not economics. By definition of our subject and by our scope, it is excluded from economics to study singular ends, and any study of the determinants of given means or ends falls outside the scope of economics. Regarding metaphysics, some metaphysical propositions fall outside bounds of economics, if they contradict our subject's definition. Such statements as all changes in tastes are determined by changes in technology say nothing about fundamental problem of economics, and, in fact, replace it with deterministic impossibility of choices. Choice-making is implied by relative valuations. Thus, by exclusion of choices, such propositions exclude economics from the range of their implications, and consequently economics excludes them from the domain of its scope.